Alright, I'm back. Episode 4, Slot Car Garage, Wizzard Storm Extreme Box Stock. I'm your host, as usual, Dwayne DS. We are going to talk about the handling magnets and how we can measure the downforce. These they're called Extreme because they come with a stronger magnet. The exact name of this I cannot recall. You can ask Ron. He knows the types of magnets, Neo or Poly or something. But anyhow, these are the stronger type. That's why it's Extreme. And what you can do is get yourself a jeweler's scale, sorry. And I set this up so that it pulls up. So we're not measuring down, we're pulling up on the scale. So I glued a razor blade on here so there would be some steel, some metal. And then you got to come up with a way so that the cover is up above that a little bit. So I glued a little chunk of pencil on the side so there's a gap there. So what you do is you can take an individual magnet. Just to show you how this works, you can take an individual magnet and you want to set up a spot. I put this tape on here so that it's a consistent measuring point every time. Alright, so it's pulling up, that's why it's negative. So negative 56 units, whatever. It's just a reference so that you know how strong it is compared to other magnets. So this is a negative 56. You can measure all of your magnets in your collection, figure out which ones are the strongest. But for this, we're going to measure the downforce of the car. So I'm going to set this up pretty much the same spot. I want it flat. The guide pin would bring it up, so I'm going to bring it down so it's flat, like so. Well, now we're at negative 47. So you write that number down. Negative 47. Then what you do is you can pop this clip off like so, kind of wedge it. This is the magnet clip. It actually clips the armature magnets and the handling magnets. Now these are very strong. They're going to go flying if you're not careful. So I like to use a piece of metal, hold it in place, then that way I can get at these magnets. Alright, so you'll notice this one's painted black on one side and it's shiny on the other. So the shiny side was down. What you do is, if you don't have a scale, you can put it up against the armature magnet, and if it sticks, that means low downforce. Okay, if you flip it over, it repels. It's repelling. That's going to be high downforce, and I will demonstrate and prove that right now. So it was shiny side down. We're going to go painted side down, repelling side down. This is a little tricky. I like to grab it with this. Bring it in from behind, otherwise it's going to slam onto the armature magnet. Bring it in, drop her in there. This is a spacer. You got to have the spacer. And then we're going to do the other side. Let's move this over so that one's sticking. I have access to the other magnet. Alright. Okay, now this one is painted white on the top, shiny on the bottom. So white rhymes with right. Passenger side is on the right. This armature magnet is white, so they match, white and white. white on the right. All right, now it was shiny side down. It's sticking. Flip it over. Now it's repelling. So we're gonna invert both these magnets so I can show you the difference in downforce. Bring it in from behind and down. Spacer and magnet clip. Goes right into the top of the chassis. Now you got to be a little extra careful here. You got to get this clip snugged in and behind the side of the chassis, otherwise it's not going to hold. That magnet's going to shift. But if you can see right there, it's up. You got to get that bottomed out like so. There. Flip it over and you can see the magnets they're in there. They don't go flush. There's a little step in there, but they're down. Alright, so now we will measure again. Let it zero out. Okay. You want to duplicate your method from before, so the car's flat, it's in the same spot, and negative 58. That's more. That's actually pulling more. So those are our two results. So we have low downforce and high downforce. Now you just decide through experimentation which way you like to run the car. This car came stock in the low downforce position. I thought it was just fine. You could probably even invert one magnet, not necessarily both, increase the downforce a little bit, somewhere in between. It's trial and error. But that shows you the actual difference in what these magnets will do based on their orientation. So now you can see the painted sides are down. All right. That is going to do it for episode 4, handling magnets, downforce. All right, guys, thanks.